Here at home, the war in Gaza could play a decisive role in the presidential election. John Jessup has more on that story from the CBN newsroom. John?
That's right, Gordon. We're just about 7 months away from Election Day, and right now the 2024 race is seen as too close to call. The U.S. relationship with Israel is one issue that could tip the balance. CBN chief political analyst David Brody explains why.
Navigating how he handles the war in Israel is getting tougher for Joe Biden, not only as president, but also in his quest to win re-election. A consistent outcry by his party's progressive wing is getting louder and larger, pushing for action against Israel for what they call a genocide in Gaza. Following the recent tragedy involving aid workers, the Biden administration took a stronger tone, calling on Israel to take concrete steps to end the humanitarian suffering or else.
If there's no changes to their policy and their approaches, then there's going to have to be changes to ours.
The question of how far those changes go is key because Biden is trailing in the polls. A drastic shift against Israel could further fracture the Democrats' base, putting key swing states at risk in November. For example, the number of Democrats choosing uncommitted over Biden in key swing state primaries has been jarring. It began in February with Michigan at roughly 13%, then almost 19% in Minnesota. This month, 8% in Wisconsin. Rick Klein is political director for ABC News.
He needs Michigan. And I tell you what, at the this election seems, at least in those Rust Belt states, they're going to be one at the margins.
Yeah, I think that's right, David. And look, Michigan is a little less close than some of the other battleground states, 150,000 votes or so. But more than, almost more than 100,000 people voted uncommitted in the primary. So if a big chunk of them decide to stay home or vote Donald Trump, then you start to see a real difference. Joe Biden really can't become president if he doesn't win Michigan.
Later this month comes Pennsylvania, which has the country's fourth largest Jewish population. Middle East analyst Jake Novak spent time as media director for the Israel consulate in New York.
If there's any state in the country where the Jewish vote actually means something, it's Pennsylvania.
Since it has about 3% of the voting population, Biden will need to perform a political tap dance between progressives and Jewish Democrats in Pennsylvania and similar states.
The biggest problem is that he's trying to dance at two weddings. That's an old Yiddish phrase. And you can't do that.
On the Republican side, Donald Trump is also weighing in. As president, he took a strong pro-Israel stance throughout his term, although recent comments about quickly ending the war have raised eyebrows.
What I said very plainly is get it over with and let's get back to peace and stop killing people. I'm not sure that I'm loving the way they're doing it because you got to have victory. Israel is absolutely losing the PR war.
Trump has certainly had a reputation of being very, very strongly pro-Israel, but you're right. Some of the comments he's made have made people question whether that's an unending commitment or if there's limitations to that.
Even with his isolationist views, there's little thought that Trump will push too far against the Jewish state.
And my expectation is you're not going to hear a lot of kind of public criticism from Trump toward Netanyahu. There's no real upside in that.
At the end of the day, Israel and Jewish people and Christians who support Israel know that Donald Trump has Israel's back.
Some aren't so confident that progressive Democrats will have Biden's back.
Could it cost Biden the election if it's close?
Well, it's very likely to be a very close election. In that sense, almost everything could be the difference maker. But it's very easy to see a scenario where this is a defining issue. And when the history of the 2024 election is written, that this is among the factors that determine its outcome.
David Brody, CBN News.